Hey, what's up everybody? Steve Billington Fishing here, and today I'm going to walk you through my Bonafide PWR129 and show you how I set it up to be an affordable kayak that the average person can own and rig out just like this to go fishing, whether they're having fun or competing in bass tournaments. Over the past year, I've logged over 1,000 hours in the seat of this kayak, so I'm pretty confident that I got it figured out. I know this setup is perfect for me, and I think it might be perfect for you too. Just real quick before we jump into the kayak, I want to let you know that today my sponsor highlight is Source Crate. You're going to see several of their products on this kayak. They're not only affordable and made in the US, these products from Source Crate are literally imperative to my success on the water. It's a great company. I think you'll like their stuff. You'll be able to find links to that and everything else that I show you on this kayak in the description down below. So without further ado, let's get into the kayak, shall we? Hopefully wearing the mic will mitigate the wind noise. It's spring here in the Midwest, which means wind. There's really no getting around it. So we're gonna start here at the front with the motor. This is the Motor Guide XI3. Well, with my back to the wind, that might help a little bit. I'm gonna hold it for this part. So the actual setup of the motor. So for power, I'm using Anderson connections. I don't like those round, I can't remember what they're called. I don't like those round pin connectors that a lot of guys use for trolling motors. I find them to be unreliable in a variety of ways. I'm an Anderson plug guy. On the front hatch access plate here, I have put in my flush mount Anderson connector with the cover, and then I drilled a little hole for the deployment. The deployment setup for the XI3 is the Bonafide kit. So I just drilled a little hole here, connected the clip to it, and this rope runs through the hatch to this pull cord right here. So when I'm sitting in the seat and I'm ready to deploy the motor, I just give that cord a pull, give the motor a little tap, and she deploys. To pull the motor back up, I've just got this rope attached to it here. This clamp is from a GoPro mount that's designed for like bicycles. I just clamped it on here and drilled a little hole where the connecting ball used to be for the GoPro. And I just have the rope knotted on the inside of there and clamped against the shaft. It's been that way for a year now. Haven't had any issues whatsoever. On the motor, I have gone with the APC prop. These props are designed for drones, but let me tell you, it's fast. And not only is it fast, it gets there really quickly. Grass, rock, nothing has given this thing any trouble. You can see it's a little beat up, but these props are like $9 or something like that. So you really just can't beat it. I average 5 to 5.5 miles an hour in this kayak, and this prop will get me there very, very quickly. I mean, you can literally feel it put you back in your seat when you go from 0 to 60 with this bad boy. To power the trolling motor, I'm using a 100 amp hour Power Queen lithium battery inside of this Minn Kota battery box. I chose to use the Minn Kota battery box because it's a clean installation, but also it has the circuit breaker built into it, and it's just a really easy way to go about getting this done. The battery stays in my kayak all the time. Whether I'm trailering down the road, on the water, doesn't matter. It's here all the time. The access plate here, same thing, a flush mount Anderson connector. This goes underneath the cover and connects to the battery. When it's time for me to charge, I simply unplug this and plug it into the Anderson on my charger, and then I plug it back into the kayak when I'm done. I'm using 6-gauge wire that runs through the hull up to that plate up there. 100 amp hour has been perfect for me. Like I said, I've got over 1,000 hours in this kayak, and I had well more than 1,000 hours in my last kayak. This battery has been with me for well over 2,500 hours. No issues. I love this battery. Now that we talked about the motor and the battery, we're just going to work our way from the front of the kayak to the back, show you what I've done, what I'm using. Let's put the motor down here. Hold that, would you? Pop this hatch open here. All right, come on in. All right, inside my hatch here. I have a manual bilge pump. I think every kayaker should carry one. I don't care what kind of kayak you have, how long you've been doing it. If you don't have a manual bilge pump in your kayak, I think you're really doing yourself a disservice. I've got a dry bag here, has my rain gear in it. I have a dry bag here, has my tools, spare props, spare shear pins, things like that in it. Here I have a custom built hatch plate. I made this out of a cutting board from Walmart and painted it black. Mounted to this is my FPV battery and my FPV wireless hub. This setup here runs everything on the kayak except for the motor. And pro tip, if you decide to use a wireless hub or really a hub of any kind, it doesn't hurt to make yourself some labels somewhere that tell you what everything is. In my last kayak, I actually put the labels on the board, but then I had to like stick my head down in there to figure it out. So now I just keep them up under the hatch. Speaking of the hatch, flush mount bow lights up here, the red and the greens. Got to have those to be legal. Let me put this motor back up real quick. All right, taking a step back to the console here. This is my custom built DIY captain's bridge. I will put the parts in the description down below. It is way, way, way more affordable to build your own captain's bridge than it is to buy one. For a graph, Lowrance, Humminbird. Funny fact, my buddy found this on a pontoon trip we did. We were just hanging out in the sun, swimming and having a couple drinks, and he found it on the shore and it just happened to fit. So I'm running a Hook 7 Lowrance. I love this unit a lot. This is not forward-facing sonar or anything like that, but it does have very, very good down and side imaging. Allows me to do sonar logging. At some point in time, I will step this up to a 9 or 10 inch screen just because I'm getting old. I think a bigger screen will help me. I have been looking at the Eagle Eye setup that they're now offering, but for now, very happy with my Lowrance Hook 7. Very affordable. And honestly, guys, that's the big thing I really want to emphasize here. The setup of my kayak is very affordable. I'm not a rich guy, and I paid for everything that's in this kayak. So you got to be frugal, right? This camera mount here is actually designed to be on the hood of a Jeep. This is a solid metal Jeep mount. I just have it bolted to the console. This is a custom-made delete plate. Again, I made this with a cutting board from Walmart. My transducer is bolted directly to the bottom of it. Keeps it just up inside the hull enough to protect it, but plenty of depth to get the whole, all the features that you need out of the Lowrance, the side scan and everything. Works really good. My transducer and power are feeding through this hull access plate here using Yak Attack through hull wiring kits. Now we're going to talk about our first product from Source Crate. I have replaced the foot steering system that comes with the Bonafide PWR129 with the Source Steer from Source Crate. The main reasons I did this, I do not like the factory foot steering. It's very difficult to use in that it gets really hard to manipulate. It's just the way that it guides on the track. Even just a little bit of dirt or even water sometimes can make it really difficult to adjust your steering. It's also not very precise. I feel like no matter how sensitive I try to make it or how minute I try to make my movements, it would always just overcorrect and not let me dial in. The Source Crate system replaces the rails and the foot pegs, replaces all of it. These bearings and this track is just so smooth. And you can adjust how easy or difficult it is to move the pegs by adjusting the bearings. It's very clean. The old system, the Spectra cord would come out of the hull and then it kind of rode over the metal track or like over the lip of it to the pedal. And I was always waiting for the track to cut it. Sometimes it would get caught on like fishing lures and stuff. With the Source Steer, the Spectra line comes out, is guided very cleanly to the foot peg. You can adjust where your foot pegs ride by adjusting the Spectra cord, and it's just a really great system. One more quick thing I want to show you. It's got these locking pins so that I can lock the steering in place by tightening those down. The factory foot steering did not have the ability to lock it in place, And when I was traveling down the road, a lot of times the foot pedals would move, and that would throw slack into the Spectra cable, and it would end up hopping over the rudder. And a lot of times I wouldn't catch it until I was already on the water. And then I would end up leaning way over everything with my PFD and everything on, trying to get my steering system unjammed. And it was just super inconvenient. So I strongly recommend the Source Steer. At the time of this filming, $89.99 for the set. And I'm gonna give you a code that's gonna save you some money. So when you look in the description down below, right next to the link for these is gonna be my code. It's gonna save you some money. You really can't beat $89, especially with a little bit of a discount. Factory Bonafide seat. I've added a kayak cushion. My under seat storage, loosen that up a little bit. I took some spare cord that I had from an old kayak, and I just tied a knot underneath the lip there. And then I just kind of looped it around in this X formation. This is totally optional. You don't have to do it, but it really just helps keep things secure. I've got my Live Fishing tackle bag here with all my Tactical Fishing Company plastics in it and my scale. I've got my KVD bag here that has some miscellaneous stuff. It's got the remote for the wireless hub that controls my lights. It's got some spare identifiers, aluminum identifiers from Trash Panda decals. I'll put a link to those down below too. It's got my scissors, multiple pairs of pliers, my donkey leash, my sunscreen. All that's right there under the seat ready for me. Little cup holder I added here because for some reason, this kayak doesn't come with a cup holder. I don't understand that. I think every kayak comes with a cup holder these days, but this one did. So moving back, there's my camera mount. Very simple Railblaza setup. I wish it was longer. I keep saying I'm gonna buy another one. I really need to. It needs to be longer. All right, the Source Crate. One of my favorite pieces of equipment that I own. You guessed it, it's from Source Crate. You know, their slogan is modular is an understatement, and this thing really defines that motto. So it's a kayak crate, obviously. It's metal, which is way nice because it's not constantly trying to come apart on me. I haven't ripped any screws out of it like I have with plastic ones. It doesn't warp in the sun. It doesn't get misshapen. Metal's just better. Even though it's metal, incredibly lightweight, incredibly lightweight. I have customized it a little bit. This is a tackle tray from a Hobie Pro Angler that goes in the center console when you first get a Pro Angler. I kept it not knowing what I was gonna do with it. Ended up bolting it right to the front of the Source Crate because it's got this M-lock system that covers pretty much every inch of it so that you can put all kinds of custom stuff on there. I've got my storage tackle boxes in here. This is pretty much everything I carry when I'm out on the water. I have a bag of plastics under the seat, and then I have my actual lures back here. Got my first aid kit, got some plastics I need to give to Trey, and I got some baby wipes down in there. Super simple. Again, stays on the kayak when I'm going down the road. It hooks in nice and easy. Just stick these right through the M-lock system, and they are not coming out. I actually have to stick my hand inside and pop those when I want to take the crate off. So super secure. I have a Yak Attack track mount, Mighty XL bolted to the top here. Sometimes I'll run the camera on there. Usually if I'm bank fishing, because when I go bank fishing, I pull this thing out and take it with me. The nice thing about Source Crate when it comes to these accessory products, Josh, the owner, has actually made all of the files to 3D print his accessories free. You can download them right from the website. So if you buy a Source Crate and you're like, wow, I don't want to buy all the rod holders, or maybe I want to tweak the way the rod holder is designed a little bit, if you have a 3D printer, you can download the file and make it yourself. Source Crate, open source. That's the whole idea. I really, really love this crate. I really love the steering. I'm not trying to give you rah-rah bullshit. If you get Source Crate products, you're gonna love them too. And he is always there to answer any of your questions. He likes ideas, thoughts. He's just a good dude down there in Tennessee making this stuff for us. And I'm telling you guys, it makes my life on the water a lot better. And that's why I'm featuring them in this video. All right, I want to talk about my light because I don't know if you can tell in the daylight. This whole light is wrapped in LEDs. This is a whip light designed for Jeeps and UTVs. So to the rear access panel here, I have another one of the Yak Attack through hull kits. And here's the plug coming out that runs up to my FPV battery. I just pull out the extra cord, plug in the light, and then when I'm not using it, tuck it right back in there, nice and clean. I took the flag off of my Yak Attack Visi pole and zip tied it on here. Even in some really crazy wind days for over a year now, that thing has not had any issues being zip tied to that pole. And let me tell you, you can see me from a long way off. All right, let's work down this side here. Yak Attack leaderboard. I've got the double header here, just sitting in my side rail. There's one of those aluminum identifier tags we were talking about. Then I have connected to the seat, I have a tether cord, and when I'm not using the leaderboard, I just click it like that. So these things float, but if it falls over, at least I know it's being dragged behind the kayak and not floating 1,000 yards behind me. And then on this side here is where my paddle rides. All right, last thing we're going to talk about is vinyl. Not to shamelessly plug again, but Trash Panda decals. If you need vinyl for your kayak or boat, hit me up, trashpandadecals.com. We'll get you taken care of. I did use gray vinyl to cover up the PWR129 and the Bonafide. It's built into the hull, so you can't just remove those decals easily. But I wanted to be able to use the space there for mission fishing. And for the numbers up front, I wanted to stay with the blackout theme. And the law here in Missouri is that they have to contrast. You can have the letters any color that you want, but they have to contrast against what they're set against. And just to give it some more effort towards contrast, I went with a lighter gray than what the kayak actually is. So it's just that second layer of contrast and looks really good. So like I said from the jump, this is a super affordable setup here. I took a very reasonably priced kayak. Like, to be honest, for everything that the PWR does and everything that it provides the angler right off the showroom floor, I think that the price is insanely reasonable. But I took it from that base point and I didn't go crazy with how it's rigged out. And I'll tell you, I carried a lot of this stuff like the motor and the graph and the battery over from my Pro Angler, but still, they're not expensive. They weren't expensive in the scheme of things when I bought it. So I didn't go crazy with like forward-facing sonar, multiple screens. I mean, it's all cool to look at and it's all stuff that, sure, I'd love to have it if sponsors were handing it to me. But I'm just your average guy who likes to go out fishing, and I compete in tournaments because my friends do it and I think it's fun. But I'm not standing on the Bassmaster stage. I don't have endless funds. I don't have sponsors throwing stuff at me. So I needed to build a rig that was incredibly competitive, stable, reliable, looks good, all those check boxes we all want to hit without breaking the bank. And guys, the PWR129 can do that for you, especially if you rig it out the way that I have. And a lot of these things like the Source Crate give you so much versatility to do your own thing and make it fit your needs. Before you go down to the video description and start buying all this cool stuff I showed you, please consider hitting that subscribe button. Steve Billington Fishing is a new channel, a spin-off from the other channel that I have. And right now I have like 11 subscribers. So I would really hope that after this thing gets like 100-something thousand views, that I've got, I don't know, 15 subscribers, because that's about the way it works out. But please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, jump in the comments if you've got any questions. Even if you just want to jump in the comments and tell me I suck, I really don't care. Just get in the comments and post something, good or bad. The analytics love it all. But anyway, that is my Bonafide PWR129 set up for 2025, and I'm gonna go win a bunch of money in it, and you can too. We'll catch you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching. Tight lines.